Okay, recently you had a lecture video that taught you some of the durations of these notes here. So for instance, a filled in note head with a stem is called a quarter note, and in most cases in our music right now that's going to get you one beat. So if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, you could play one of those on each of those beats. Okay. If it's got not a filled in head but still a stem, it's called a half note. It's twice as long, it gets 2 beats. And these paired eighth notes, sometimes you see them separate with a flag like this. Sometimes you see them paired together. You can sometimes even see them in groups of 4. They're worth half of a beat each. They're called eighth notes. And so they go 2 per beat. Okay. This right here is a whole note. It's just a squished golf ball, no stems or anything. It's worth 4 beats. When you add a dot to a note, it adds 50% of what the original note is worth. So this was originally a half note worth 2 beats, plus 50% more is 3 beats. Here's a quarter note right here with a dot. It's got 1 beat for the quarter note and 50% more, which would be another half of a beat. So this dot is worth the same as an eighth note right there. And you know, we worked on that a bit. So what we're going to talk about today is counting systems. And the first thing I want you to do is I want you to pull this out of the binder and turn this over. And we're in the goldenrod section on page 2. So this is the worksheet, the first one. There's another one coming up. And if you see here at the end, there is a dotted line right there and a guide. This is like a decoder. It will give you the answers. And so go ahead and carefully cut yours out on the dotted line like I'm doing right now. You can pause the video and go get some scissors and do that after you cut it. And then after you cut it out like that, come back to the video and we can proceed from there. Okay, I'm going to put this back in the binder and I'll show you how this works. So on the previous page we were looking at before, it says when you write in rhythms and countings for notes, every note along here should have the beat number or the and, which is how we count in between beats 1 and 2 and 3 and under the note that's there. Okay, if there's a note on them. Now, if there are beats where there's not a note starting on them, like here we have a 1 and it goes for 2 beats, so it's going to go 1, 2, and the next note will start on 3, then you put it in a parenthesis. We still want to see where it is because we want to keep track of it, but you put it in the parenthesis because we want to know that we don't re-articulate a new sound there, okay? Also, here we have like 1 and 2. Because this note right here lands in between the beats, we put the and on it. But you notice there's no other place where notes land on the and. We don't write ands in unless they're actually on a note. So you have to always have all the beats present, although some may be under notes and some may have parentheses around them to tell you not to re-articulate a new sound there, even though the duration of a note's going on. And only when a note starts on an and, which is in between the beats, do you actually put that and right there. Okay? So let's take a look at this right here. So this time signature says 4/4. It means there's 4 beats in a measure and the quarter note gets a beat. Okay? This whole note right here is worth 4 beats and it starts at the beginning of the measure, so it starts on 1. Okay? And it goes for 4 whole beats, and this bar line says start over again. Start with 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we do is we still have to put the beats in, 2, 3, 4, right? But we put parentheses around them to tell us not to re-articulate anything. That's there as a reference so we know the notes are going by, but we hold this note out. So if I was going like 1, 2, 3, I'd go ta, ta. And I'd be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay. So we start over again when there's a new bar line. So the first note is a 1. Okay. This is a half note. It's worth 2 beats. So we have to go 1, 2. But this is holding through there, so we'll put a parentheses on that to let us know that we hold through that. And then after the second beat is done, this would start on the third beat. It goes for 2 beats, and like that. Okay? Let's keep going. This line right here starts on beat 1, of course. So 1. It's a half note. It goes for 2 beats. So we'll write the second beat in there, but we'll put a parenthesis just to remind us that it's there. Keep track of it. Okay? That means that this starts on the next beat after that, which is 3. And 4 is going on. So if we were going 2, 3, we'd go ta, ta, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the notes through those beats. Okay? Bar line says to start your counting over again. 1 goes for the whole beat, so this will be 2. Goes for a whole beat, 3, 4. So as the grid of time, whether it's a metronome or a silent beat in your head is going by, you know that you would play this note on 1. Ta, 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 like that. Okay? All right. Onward. So these are 4-quarter notes starting on the beginning. So there's going to be 1 on each beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now here's where it gets a little trickier. The beginning of the measure, it's going to start on 1. Okay? But this is only worth half a beat. So when this gets done, we're in the middle of a beat right now. So in between the beats are called ands. So that'd be 1 and. And then after the second half of the beat, the and of the beat is done, the next note will start on 2. It'll go for a whole beat because quarter notes get a beat. So this will start on 3 because this is for the full duration. But it only does half of a beat. So the next note will start on the and, or the in between the beat. And then after that part of the beat, half of the beat is done, the last note will be on 4. This is counted. The beat stays steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. We've never written any of the ands in up here, even though they're always going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, because we don't want to see them. It just confuses things. Unless there's a note on them, then we want to know where that is. But we always want to know where those beats are. Now, if you ever wonder if you're right or not, you can take this thing that we cut off here and hold it underneath. And you can see on the grid where all the beats land. This would be on 1 beat and go for 1 and. These are just eighth notes going by for every 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can see we did this correctly. The first note starts on 1. There is no new note on the and, so we just don't even write that in there. 2, 3, 4. The first eighth note is the 1. 2 is not going to happen until over here, till another half of the beat goes. And 2. We don't have to write the and in because it's a full note right there, right, for the whole beat. 3 and 4, like that. So if you're ever confused or you want to check, and you should check if you're not 100% certain, hold that up and check your notes. Okay? Let's go on a little bit. This is 2 beats plus 50% more 3 beats. Starts on beat 1, right? It's going to go 2 and 3, and those are going to be in parentheses because they're part of the duration of the note right there. It'd be like 1, 2, 3. And so after 3 beats are done, the next beat is 4. Right there. Start over again, 1. This starts on 2, but because eighth notes in pairs and beats go 2 and 3 and so on, and 3 and 4. And you can check your answer just like that and say, yep. So 1, 2, 3. This is on 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Again, don't write the ands in unless there's an actual note underneath. Write all the beats in, okay? All right, well, let's talk about the dotted note, and then I'll let you have at it a little bit. And what's going to happen is you're going to do this whole first page and check your answers and things like that. And then I'll put up a picture of an answer key. And then if you have questions, you're going to start saying, why is it like this or this or this? Getting this first part down is pretty easy. As soon as we start using dots, people get confused. So let's think about it like this. This is worth 1.5 beats. How many eighth notes is 1.5 beats? There's 3 eighth notes right there. and that's worth 1/8 note, and that's worth 2/8 notes, and that's worth 2/8 notes, right? So let's take a look at what the first 3/8 notes give us here in our answer key. The first eighth note will be 1, so the counting would be 1, yes. The next eighth note would be the and, but we're not going to write it because this is going through. The next eighth note will be on 2, so we write the 2 in. But it's part of this note. It's continuing on. So just like up here, when we're not articulating, we put that in a parentheses right there. We don't care about this and because it's not being articulated on an actual note. We do care about this and, though, because it comes on the and of 2 right there. So like that. And then 3, don't write the and. 4. And then here, 1, don't write the 2, or the and. 2, don't write the and. 3. Now remember, this is worth 3/8 notes because of the dot, right? So 3 and, don't write it. There's my 3/8 note. 4, because it's a beat, we write it, but we put it in parentheses because it's part of this note. So it's going through and, like that right there, because that's on a note. So we'd be going 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and, right? Ta, 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 like that, okay? My advice to you as you do this is to do as much as you can before resorting to the answer key or to the, the checker like this. For instance, maybe this next line is still confusing to you and you're not sure how to do this. Fine. Ignore it to begin with and write this much easier line in first. Go back and then do as much as you can. Like for instance, you know that that's going to be on the 1. No matter what happens next. You also know that this is the last eighth note in the measure before you go on, and that's always going to be 4 and right there, like that. Right? Now, maybe you're not sure where to place those. You can check this out, right? And say, oh, yeah, this is 3/8 notes, so I have to write a 2 in there. And there's the and just before 3, and so on. But do as much as you can, right? And then, don't get stuck because you see something you don't recognize. All right, this will be fun for you, I guess, I hope. Just this page right here. You don't have to do the second one. And yeah, have fun doing that.